In 5th century, Bodhidharma was the prince of Pallava. His name was Jayavarman, and he traveled to China. Then he got a beautiful guru. Her name was Prajnatara. Up to his 50 or 55, he was a Buddhist monk. So he traveled to the Shaolin temple, which was situated near the Yangtze River. So he meditated in a cave 9 years. So after that, he came out with 2 scriptures. One is I Ching Ching, another one is Jin Zai Ji. And they inspired from that. They improvised. So from I Ching Ching, Kempo Karate, Taekwondo, Kung Fu, all these Chinese martial art inspired.
When I first got to know about Kalaripayattu, that was through that film Baghi.
Yeah.
That was the first time when I got to know India has such a beautiful form of martial art, and it was actually the mother of martial art.
We should realize that Kalaripayattu is the oldest martial art form maybe in the world. We can trace back the legacy up to the Sangam literature, which was written 3000 years back. So Kalari means an auspicious. In Keralolpati, it is mentioned that Parshurama created Kerala with his mighty axe. Then he made a lot of Kalaris for the protection of this land. That lineage, the northern style of Kalaripayattu evolved. Todade, tottal vidade. You are not attacking me, you don't go to touch him. If you touch, don't spare. Every martial artist and every people who are using weapons, they know that the ultimate weapon is mind. So Kalaripayattu will enhance your mind, it will make you fearless. Because you should understand, Swami Vivekananda once said, fear is the root cause of all miseries in the world.
Is this saying true that you shouldn't bring a knife to a gunfight? Can you fight against that person?
See, ultimately...
Namaste Jai Hind, my name is Jayesh and this is The J Report, a podcast where we discuss everything that is happening in the world and also in India. On tonight's podcast, we have Guru Mahesh S. Now, who is Guru Mahesh S? Guru Mahesh S is a warrior monk. He is also the founder of Agasthyam Kalaripayattu. He is a 5th generation Kalari Gurukul. In this podcast, we discuss what is exactly Kalaripayattu. We discuss how there are 2 schools of Kalaripayattu. In India, people still don't know that Kalaripayattu was the origin of all of the martial arts that are known across the globe today. In fact, Bodhidharma, the warrior monk who started Kung Fu in China, was a teacher of Kalaripayattu. In this podcast, we discuss Kalaripayattu, we discuss self-defense, and we discuss martial arts. So without any further ado, let's start this podcast in 3, 2, 1. Gurukul, Mahesh ji, I am
Namaskaram.
so glad and honored to have you here.
Thank you.
And this is something which I wanted to tell you. So on this podcast, we talk about Bharat's past, present and future. That is our tagline.
Yeah,
And
right.
today the conversation topic is about Kalaripayattu, which is a style of martial arts, the mother of martial arts, which people in India have been training in since many years now.
Yeah.
And it has, as you told me off the camera as well, this has been a lifestyle for many people. For
Right.
the kings, for the emperors, for the gods, this was the lifestyle.
Right.
So we'll be talking in depth about that. I'm very
Yes.
excited for this. But firstly, welcome, sir.
Thank you. And we are very happy to be here with you.
So firstly, usually when I meet someone, I call them Guruji. You told me to call you Gurukul. Am I pronouncing it right?
Correct.
Yeah. So what is the meaning of Gurukul?
Basically, in Kalaripayattu, usually the gurus are called as Gurukuls. Gurukul. Because it's a plural word. There are a lot of Kalaris in Kerala, and there are a lot of Gurukuls and Ashans. We can find Gurukuls and Ashans. So Gurukul means it's a plural word, which means it's a lineage of Guru. So what I am teaching or any Guru is teaching is the knowledge coming from his lineage. Because this knowledge was departed years back, maybe thousands of years back. From each Guru, they improvised and had passed this knowledge to his successor. And it is coming like a lineage. So whatever we teach in Kalari, it comes from the lineage. So Gurukul is a good word, apt word for that.
So as a student, when I address you as Gurukul, I am addressing the whole lineage of the Gurus.
Correct. Because whatever I teach or any Gurukul in Kalari or Ashans in Kalari teaches, it comes from that Guru lineage only. It comes from their Guru, and maybe his improvisation will be there. Yeah, and before that, there will be another Guru. So different knowledges, different war knowledges and different techniques It came as a stream. It started like just like a stream, and it is still flowing as a big river. But if you are seeking more and more, we will find that it's a big ocean. Always knowledges are big oceans. Yeah.
So I'll tell you, when I first got to know about Kalaripayattu, that was through that film Baghi
Okay.
of Tiger Shroff.
Yeah.
That was the first time when I got to know India has such a beautiful form of martial art, and it was actually the mother of martial arts.
Correct.
Why was this hidden from us? And what is the meaning of Kalaripayattu?
Basically, we should realize that Kalaripayattu is the oldest martial art form in maybe in the world, refined form in the world. We can trace back the legacy up to the Sangam literature. Might be heard about Sangam literature, Tamil Sangam literature, which was written 3,000 years back. And the Adi Sangam, the chairman of Adi Sangam was Sage Agastya. And he created Tamil language and the grammar text Agatyam, which was well mentioned in Tolkappiyam. So in Sangam literature, we have a lot of padals like Akampadal, Purampadal, Kundalageshi, Valayapati, Umayapati, Tirumurugatrupade, kind of different scriptures where we can see the word Kalari in different padals. That means if it is codified that time, this art form and this word was there from before that, right? So Kalari means an auspicious or profound space. Even in Sangam literature, we can see the usage of weapons, mostly in Purampadal, which sings more about the warriors and the heroic acts. So where we can see the weapons, usage of weapons, the mode of techniques used, hmm, and their valorship. Even the warrior who die in a war field was glorified as God. Because if you are getting a hit in your chest and if you are dying, you will get a proper cremation, glorified cremation. And normally we'll place a hero stone there. We call it as Veerakal, in which your all your valor activities are, what do you call it? It'll be a storyboard of your heroism. So these hero stones will gradually turn into gods because all kind of what do you call worship, prayers, and all that things will be happening. So it was a shortcut to become god. If you're a warrior, that time, because that Sangam period we can call it as a Veera Yuga. So it was there from that time. And if you are checking, even in India, we have a very structured research in all sciences. We had a very good research, and even Dhanurveda was a wonderful text which was formed alongside Yajurveda. It was a part of Yajurveda as an Upaveda. It came, and Dhanurveda we can see the usage of different kinds of weapon.
Right. It is a text about weapons completely and the use of weapons.
Army arrays and their code and conduct. Lot of things are there. It's interesting that we had a structured army thing. So even in Dhanurveda, it is said the weapons are classified into different formats. Like for example, um, Panimukta are some kind of weapons which can be released from the hand, just like spears. Then Yantra Mukta, we are using an Yantra, kind of that bow and arrow. We are releasing that thing. Okay, it's an Yantra. Then we had a Mukta category, that kind of weapons that we are throwing and it is coming back, just like boomerangs or chakras. In Kalari, in southern part of India, we have Valaris, just like Indian boomerangs going and coming back. And even Ishti, which is used in elephant fighting. Na? If you are sitting in elephant, you have to throw a spear and it should come back with a string or something like that. So kind of thing.
Right.
Then another category is Amukta, where the weapon is not going from your hand. So exactly Kalari is not from there, but we can say that Kalaripayattu comes under the Amukta category, that we will use weapons with the hand. We will not throw weapons always. So weapons will be in the hand. So it can be the inspirations are there from Dhanurveda. We can see Kalaripayattu, the word Kalari and all that things in Sangam. That means this martial art was here from maybe from thousands of years back. So this is the oldest martial art form. And even if you are checking about all these Shaolin martial arts or kind of modern Chinese martial that evolved after 5th century only. Even in 1400s, a lot of people visited Kerala. So Abdul Razak Samarkandi, he is a Persian traveler who visited Kerala. He had mentioned about the warriors. He came to Calicut, actually, Calicut region. He mentioned about the warriors who were using their clothes in the knee, up to knee. They are carrying leather, what do you call, shields and swords. So he mentions about that. Even some Russian travelers came in 14,000. Then after that, in 15,000, 1500s, 1500s, sorry, 1500s, actually, Dwight Barbosa, he's a Portuguese traveler. He traveled all around Kerala, and he was mentioning about people who are very much, he mentioned Kalaripayattu as a lifestyle, that he says that all kids up to age from age 7, they are going to Kalari in a regular basis. They are using their oils in the body and practicing, and they are making their body as a flexible. What do you call? They can flex. They're very much flexible. And even he says an interesting thing that all people are carrying swords as bells. That he mentions about the Urumi. So we know that from very old time, this evolved as an war art. And if you are checking about the evolution of Kalaripayattu in Kerala, usually we have more stories than the reality because it is very old. So we will be talking about the stories like about Parashurama, about
Correct. So
Agastya and
basically,
all.
there are like two major styles of Kalari, right?
Yeah. We
One
have a
is
lot of
northern
styles, but major styles are two,
to
northern and
northern
southern
and
style.
southern. Okay. And one came from Parshuram.
Yeah,
The other one came from Sage Agastya.
correct.
Okay. So what is this exactly?
Yeah, exactly. If you are tracing back the history, we are lost actually. When it started, we don't have an exact timeline. But we have these kind of epics and stories that in Keralolpati, it is mentioned that Parashurama created Kerala with his mighty axe. Then he made a lot of calories for the protection of this land.
Okay.
So from that lineage, the northern style of Kalaripayattu evolved. And the northern style is still believing Parashurama is as the Paramaguru of Kalaripayattu. And if you can search Dhanurveda, you can see Parashurama as a guru of Dhanurveda also. We are checking the Vasishta Dhanurveda. It is there. Then the southern style of Kalaripayattu is attributed to Sage Agastya. And if you are checking Sage Agastya, we can see the scriptures, the contributions of Agastya, and the 18 siddhas are still there about the pressure points. Even I had translated on text of Agastya that we called as Marma Kannadi. It's all about the pressure points in human body. So it was released in the National Education Policy's annual meeting 2 weeks back in Delhi. I brought one book.
Thank you so much, Gurukul.
It's a wonderful book for you.
Thank you.
The knowledge is from, I think, from at least from 2,500 years back.
Right. I'd want to talk about this as well in more detail
Yeah.
as we go on in the
Yes,
conversation.
correct.
When we talk about like these two styles of Kalaripayattu, what is the difference between the two? Because so about Parshuram, we all have heard the stories. We know how good of a warrior he was. But personally, I don't know much about Sage Agastya. And both of them have their own styles of Kalaripayattu. So what is the difference and who is Sage Agastya? Let's dive into that conversation.
Basically, if you are checking the northern style of Kalaripayattu, it's a beautiful style which is more into the flexibility aspect. The foundation of northern style is, we call it as Meppayattu, to make your body as much as you can, as much as profound you can. It will be a wonderful flexible movements you'll find in Meppayattu, and we can have diverse resistance movements in that. It's actually a wonderful art. we can say it as a classical Kalaripayattu form. But if we are coming to the southern style of Kalaripayattu, it's more into the pressure points, and it can be a combination of multiple martial art which was happened in southern style. So we can see it's a combination of the Aditada, Adimurai. We have another form that is Kuttu Varisai, then Silambatam, mm, kind of martial arts were there. Small martial arts. So in southern style of Kalaripayattu, we can see the combination of these all small martial arts together. We can put in a bracket of southern style, which is more into the survival. It's not like a mostly not like a performing art. It's more into the survival part, and it is more focused on the marma, the pressure points in the human body. So if you are checking Agastya, he had written 94 scriptures regarding the pressure points, how to revive, how to escape from hits, kind of things. So it is more a survival art, and the northern style is a classical art. So now we have in competitions up to national games, Kalaripayattu is it's as a sports it is evolving. Where now we don't have the separation, north and south. If is we have a combination. Now it is all combined. In our Kalari also, we train northern style of Kalaripayattu as well as the southern style, but we are more focused and keen into the southern style of Kalaripayattu, which is a very vast knowledge, not much what do you call? We had to work lot in that things because there are a lot of profound ashans who is carrying this knowledge, and diverse techniques and kind of methods are there in southern style of Kalaripayattu. More to explore actually.
Okay. So, even before we talk about Sage Agastya, in general, I want to know how lethal is someone who is trained in Kalaripayattu?
Basically, there is a wording which we says "todade todade tottal vidade."
Hmm.
That means don't touch if anybody touches you.
Yeah.
If you are not attacking me, you don't go to touch him. If you touch, don't spare. Todade todade tottal vidade. So always Kalari and Kalari Ashan say don't go for any kind of what do you call it,
Hmm.
atrocities. Mostly we know that if you are learning Kalaripayattu, it connects you in a different method, in different faculties. For example, it is it's very good for your physical strength.
Hmm.
It's very good for your mental strength, and it balances your emotions. And it is more. It will elevate your spirituality also.
Okay.
So you will be more and more disciplined if you start learning Kalaripayattu. Because whenever you enter Kalari, you will touch the ground
Hmm.
and you worship the Mother Earth and you start practicing.
Right.
And you worship everything. And even the opponent we worship will say namaste to opposite. We'll respect. So this is the culture that we are developing. That means we are not going to attack anybody. We'll be a very disciplined person.
Hmm.
But if sometimes some situation comes, if we are acting, then we have to act as much as you can.
Right.
This is the basic principles that we follow.
Right. So, let's take an example. If there's this saying, right? Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. How lethal is Kalaripayattu and the weapons that are used in Kalaripayattu when you are in a situation where the opponent has a gun or probably has something even worse than that? So, how do is this saying true that you shouldn't bring a knife to a gunfight? Can you fight against that person?
See, ultimately, I talked about Kalari and even about martial arts and even about guns with the army personnels because we are very much connected with the Indian Army. So we are fortunate to meet a lot of very efficient, eminent officials, higher officials of army. So they have all weapons, right? So they say the, the important, the strong weapon you have is your mind. When you lose all guns in the warfield, you will have the bayonet only. Only you will have a knife. That time, The opposite enemies will be having a lot of guns, maybe. That time, the weapon that helps you is your mind only. So, Kalaripayattu is ultimately a martial art which strengthens your mind. It makes you fearless. Okay. It gives you more resilient. It's resilience, for example. And ultimately, it's a mind training. When we train kids now, we always say, if you start learning Kalaripayattu, it's Kalaripayat. If you start learning Kalaripayat, uh, you will be disciplined and nobody will come to attack you. Then we'll be confused why we are doing this much of hard practices. Always we'll be doing practices or practices, we'll get cuts, we'll undergo a lot of pains and all. Then why we are doing like that? But in daily basis, there we have to be lot of challenges, right? In each and every minute we are going through different challenges. We can overcome the challenges in a very profound way, actually very calm, peaceful way, and we can go and find big challenges and we can beat them. So ultimately, every martial artist and every people who are using weapons, they know that the ultimate weapon is mind. So Kalaripayat will enhance your mind, it will make you fearless. Because you should understand, Swami Vivekananda once said, fear is the root cause of all miseries in the world. If there is any misery, then there should be a fear. Mostly human being has one fear about, if the main fear is actually it's about pain.
Right.
Maybe it's a physical pain or it can be a mental pain. So we fear about the pain. So in daily practice, what we are going to do is we are trying to overcome the pain. Trying to overcome the pain. And a very interesting factor, now everybody is asking for the scientific research and all that thing. So we are an IK center
Okay.
for Kalaripayat and Siddha tradition, with Ministry of Education, Government of India, which we have a PI, Dr. Arun Surendran, and I am the co-PI. So we did a wonderful research last year. So we trained 400 students through different six schools. Then Niche, the government agency Niche, they did actually the psychological changes, what is happening over a period of 15 weeks. So what the reading is actually the resilience, the fearless attitude, the self-esteem, and the confidence of kids who are trained in Kalaripayattu changed in 15 weeks, remarkably changed. Now we are going to publish a proper paper, and maybe after next year, maybe we can say that it is scientifically proved.
Right. And because Gurukul, you talked about mind. Um, Over the years, because we have talked with a lot of army men and especially people from the special forces, one thing which I have understood about the mind and the attitude of fearlessness is that one split second decision that you have to take under any situation. If someone is coming to attack you, you have a minute second where you have to decide either you are going to fight or you're going to run. And if you're unable to decide, you die. That is the
That we always say as flight, fight, and freeze
right,
responses.
right. So, how does Kalaripayat strengthens your mind to take that decision?
So, if I can say something about the psychological factors which is happening. So, basically, our Kalari training starts with the physical strengthening exercises. We have a lot of physical strengthening exercises, which has animal moves, which has even different exercises, a lot of exercises, conditioning and all that things. Then after that, we move to the bare hand fights. Okay. Then we move to the steps, the basic chuvadu. Chuvadu means the basic steps. I am talking about the southern style of Kalaripai. We have single step, that is Otta Chuvadu, and we have Kuta Chuvadu, complex steps. Then we move up to the short staffs. Then we have the long staff. Then we have the choppers, the axe, the daggers. We have a sword and shield, Urumi. And after that, we move up to the pressure points, the learning of pressure points and all. So ultimately, what we are doing is Every martial art, what they are teaching is we will do repeated actions. So if Chuvadu means we are trying to defend and offend the attacks from four sides, and we'll do it, practice it regularly, repeatedly, and repeatedly. All possible way of attacks and self-defense, we learn. We'll practice in a daily basis. So what will happen is it will make it, your brain will start making a neural pathway, and it will gradually become your muscle memory. So if somebody is coming and attacking you, there is no planning. There is no time to plan. So I know this lock. So we had to do this lock. That kind of planning will not work in any situation because it will come like taka. It will come like a very fast hit. That in that split second, your body should react. You understand? So ultimately, this learning is a subconscious learning. The body should react, and we should attain a strong reflex. This is what the training is. People usually will be commenting if somebody is coming like that, why can't they use that hand, this hand? These are all like rubbish questions they are asking because they don't know anything about martial arts. If you are a martial artist, your body should become a weapon.
Right.
In some situation, something happens before your conscious mind acts, your subconscious mind should come with a reflex. That's how it is happening. That's how it should happen.
Correct. I think there's this quote, right, of Bruce Lee's quote, if I'm not wrong, where he said that I'm not scared of that person who trains a kick one
Correct.
time. I'm scared of that person who trains that same kick 1,000 times.
Correct. No, he was saying about I'm not scared about a man who know 1,000
Right.
kicks, but I am scared about a man who trained in one kick
1,000 times.
1,000
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's the basic idea. Because if you are trained, if you are practicing one kick 1,000 times, then the body will react like that only.
Correct. Okay. So when we look at Kalaripayattu, again, when we look at other martial arts, like for example, in karate or taekwondo, there's like white belt, then blue belt, green belt, and you go up to black belt.
Correct.
In Kalaripayattu, how does the progression happen?
We can say it can be, the progression can be, we have multiple chewards, like we have 12 to 15 or cheward. If you learn the first step very well, you can go to the second step. Then if you learn up to 10 or 12, you can start learning the complex steps. After that, you will progress with the weapons, actually, with the short staff, with the long staff. Like that, we can progress. But ultimately, the Gurukul or Ashans know that the student is capable up to this. Normally, we can't give a belt. Actually, if there are 10 students, they are showcasing 10 katas, then we can give this kind of belt. It is not possible in Kalari because the dedication of student, the practice level of student, the attitudes of students, and even how they are learning, that is very important. And the belts are worn by the students itself. They know that I know this much, I can progress this much. This should come in the mind of that student, and at the same time the trainer. Yeah, it is progressing like that only. In our Kalari, there are some students who had mastered all that skills, that all weapon skills within 4 to 5 years. But still, there we have a lot of students, 10 years, 11 years, didn't even progress up to 2, 3 weapons. This is ultimately the dedication and attitude of the students. And we know that how the student is progressing. Like that, we'll take them and train.
Right. And in general, how much time does it take to master Kalaripayattu?
So in Northern Kalaripayattu, they always say 12 years is the time. But if you are more dedicated, we can learn in 6 years, I think, all this weapon training and all that. But we had to improvise. Still, I am learning. I know I started practicing very minimum 40 years back. So, but still, there are possibility of learning is there. So still I am also learning every day.
And in your Kalari, so w- I want to know the parallel. So, what is the youngest kid that has trained in Kalaripayat and the oldest person who has trained?
Now we had done a lot of innovations in Kalaripayattu. We created some designed programs. So our very small kid, I think it's 5 year, and senior most is 82.
82.
Yes.
82. Okay. But is the body, I don't know, like, is it strong enough to train in Kalaripayat at 82?
Yeah, because we innovated Kalari in a different manner. We have multiple programs. One is we called as Nityam. That is the regular practice for the kids, which progresses through the weapons and the performances, and it goes to the sports and all that things. But we innovated another program called as Nalludal, which means good body for all age groups. So they can practice Kalari on their own pace. Sometimes they can't perform like the kids, na, but they can progress through Kalari because Kalaripayattu is a complete health package. If you are checking about a complete health, you should be strong enough in cardiovascular health. You should be very strong in your muscular strength or resistance training. Then, obviously, you should be the flexibility is very important. The fourth one is the body balancing. So, Kalaripayattu is a complete package which uh, gives you a strong heart. That means you'll be having a cardiovascular exercises we are having. Then the resistance training, muscular training is obviously there. Flexibility is Kalaripayattu's signature. And the fourth one is actually the body balancing. If you lose these four, that means old age. If you're losing the body balance, the flexibility, cardiovascular strength, and resistance, even muscle loss, that means you are old. So we can reverse these four through the rigorous practice of Kalaripayattu. So we innovated Kalari in such a way that every age group can practice. And for the old age people, we created another program called as Prana. It's all about breathing. Yeah, about how we can manage the pranic life force inside you. So different kind of programs we innovated, and we have a proper meditation, Kriya meditation program that is Akam.
Right.
So we are evolving in a different way.
So, I was watching one of your videos where you talk about breath. And you mentioned this very interesting thing wherein um, you ask people at your workshops what is the most important thing that you need to live your life, and people always answer with food, shelter, clothes, etc., and they forget to answer breath. And that is actually, even I had those same answers, and then I realized you are right, breath is the most important thing. And then you said a lot of people, and majority of them, don't breathe correctly. So what is the correct process of breathing?
See, basically, even the elite educated people, because this is just because of the education system which was created by Lord Macaulay in 1800s, and still unfortunately, we are still following that is same education system where we know everything. Now we have the gadgets and all. So if you want to know anything, you can just Google and find it out. But you are not aware about you, how your system is working. We are not at all aware. This must be the education. Kalaripayat is ultimately educating to explore you. So this question I always ask: what is the basic necessity of life? Then people will say food and shelter kind of answers. Nobody says it's breathe. Then again I will be asking how many of you breathe. So everybody will raise the hand. Then how many of you can confidently say that I'm breathing properly? Then nobody will rise. That means people doesn't know how to breathe. If you breathe properly, what will you get? The basic idea is we are all having an idea of breath per minute. You heard about the term
Yeah,
breath per
yeah, yeah.
minute? In 1 minute, how many inhalation, exhalation you are taking will decide the longevity.
Okay.
Even now, also there is strong evidences and strong scientific research has happened post COVID that the secret of longevity remains in your lungs. Okay. So if you are checking a rat which is having a breath per minute of 180 lives 2 years, and a doggy with a breath per minute of 50 to 55 lives 11, 12, 13 years. And if you're checking a blue whale with a breath per minute of 10 lives 100 years. And the turtles live more, right?
Yeah.
Their breath per minute is 2 to 3 and the lifespan is 250 years.
Right.
That means breathe decides your lifespan, first of all. Second thing is breathe is controlling your mind.
Because it calms you down.
A lot of things. Can I give you a small experiment?
Sure.
So you can take a long inhalation, hold the breath, close your eyes, and exhale. When you hold the breath, there was no thoughts.
Right.
Correct or not?
Absolutely true.
That means breathe is uh, mobilizing your thoughts. In Hadayoga Pradipika, it is said, Chale vade chalam chittam, nischalam nischalam bhaved. When your breath is disturbed, mind is disturbed,
Correct.
and vice versa. So if you see a small girl crying, you can see after his cry, she will start sobbing.
Correct. Yeah.
Something like this. Na? Sobbing means breath is coming and manipulating in such a way to settle down her mind.
Right.
If you are in a depressed mode, you will be having a long sighs, like something like this will happen frequently. This means if you are depressed, then your breath is coming and manipulating such a way to settle down you.
Right.
So your mind is completely controlled by your breath. If you focus on your breath and work on your breath, you will get a good mind, actually, ultimately, a strong mind. So in Kalaris, we start teaching with how to breathe. It should be a proper tummy breath. We call it as a diaphragmatic breath. When you inhale, your tummy should come up. You can check any animal. If you check a cat, the tummy is coming up and going. A rat, or doggy, everything will having this diaphragmatic breathing because of the diaphragm which is separating your lungs and your tummy area. So we have to practice that thing basically. If you start practicing breathing, you will get a strong mind because this is just because of the autonomous nerve system which is having the parasympathetic sympathetic activities happening. So breathe is actually managing your mind and even the longevity or health. So the basic learning in every education system should start with how to breathe. I'm wondering, I was just asking, I was even surprised. We don't know how to breathe. The people don't know how to breathe. So the secret of a quality life lies on that.
I started training in yoga very recently because I wanted to work on my health. And the first thing my yoga trainer told me was, "You're breathing incorrectly." I was like, "How am I breathing incorrectly? I've been breathing since my birth.
Yeah.
So how can it be incorrect?" And then she told me that when just notice when you breathe, your stomach, instead of coming out, it's going inside.
It's a reverse breathing.
Yeah,
Mostly
because
you are doing the thoracic one.
yeah,
We are doing this clavicular breathing, that is nostril breathing, which is a very bad breathing.
right,
Some people go up to thoracic area. When you breathe, the thoracic area will come up and
Correct.
tummy will go
correct.
up down. That's a reverse breathing process.
Yeah.
But we have to we have to realize that.
And then she told me that you have been doing that because when you go out, you tuck in your tummy so that people don't look at it. And that has over the years trained you to breathe in that manner,
Correct.
even if you didn't want it that.
You know actually if you are checking a small kid, very small kid,
Hmm.
he or she will be breathing properly.
Right.
The tummy will come up and go. When we messed up our mind with lot of activities, lot of rubbish things, we
Correct.
forgot actually. We forgot how to breathe. That is the problem. When you sleep, you are breathing properly.
Right.
You check anyone sleeping near you, if you can check, the breathe pattern will be a different pattern,
Correct.
and the tummy will come up and go.
Right.
So the better way to breathe is sleep now.
Right. But then for those people who have been breathing incorrectly, how do they train themselves to breathe correctly now?
So everything needs a training. Even mind needs a training because now people are like stressed. Even I always talk about a citation from the Taittiriya Upanishad, which was a conversation from Bhrigu and his father Varuna. It says, if you have a strong mind, if you want to create a strong mind, you should breathe properly, first of all. You should practice on that. If you have a strong mind, what will you get? So Bhrigu says, Annavan annannato bhavati, mahan bhavati, Pashunam prajapir brahmavarsena mahan kirtya, which means if you if you have a strong mind, then only you'll get a good body.
Absolutely.
We know people that having bodybuilders, if they are depressed for 1 week, they'll be like this, na? You know. So if you have very strong people, if they are depressed, if they don't have a strong mind, if they have some shocking news or depression, anything happened for 1 week, their body will go actually. Ah. Annavan annanato bhavati mahan bhavati, then you will become a great person. Pashuna, wealth will come to you. Prajabhir, like-minded people will come to you. Then Brahmavarsena Mahan Kirtya, then you will become a glorified one. Even Agastya says, Manamadu semmeyanal mandiram jebikka venda, Manamadu semmeyanal vasiya nirutta venda, Manamadu semmeyanal vayuve uyartha venda, Manamadu semmeyanal mandiram semmeyame. That means if you have a strong mind, then no need to chant mantras, no need to do pranayamas, no need to do deep kriyas. If you have a strong mind, then you'll get a good body. He also says if you have a strong body, strong mind, then you will get a good body. Good body will come from a mind. That's why we call this as a Annamaya Kosha, because we eat and make body. Like that, we create mind also. So Kalaripayattu is a very strong tool to get a strong mind, to be resilient, because in life, failures are most, right? Because if you are aspiring a success or if you are aiming a success, you have to undergo through a lot of failures. Then only you will reach the success. So all kids in even in IITs, kids are like suiciding now because of the stress, because of failures, fear of failures. Till now, so that means Kalari, what gives you if you are falling down, you will come back with double energy and will have a smile. You will be ready to face another failure. So this is what we teach. This is the body language of Kalaripayattu. Always will be falling down, will come down, come up. And we are trying to overcome the pain also.
Now I get it why it is called a lifestyle.
Correct.
But because you talked about mind, you talked about breath, is meditation also a part of Kalaripayat? And how
100%.
important is it?
100%. Because Kalari gives you very sharp focus. Maybe you had seen our videos. When you, in fraction of seconds, multiple hits will come. If you don't have focus, what will happen?
Yeah, you're gone.
Gone. So the focus of mind is very important in practicing Kalaripayattu. But in Agasthyam, we have a very wonderful written. We have a one beautiful residential program. Even you can attend the residential if time permits, because we start our practices in the morning, like by 6:45, 7. We have a Sauranga, that is something like a solar body practice, gazing to sun and eye exercises. After that, we will be doing a meditation. This proper breathing meditation. We call it as a prana meditation. Then we have a proper practice session in the morning. We have peer learning sessions. We have theory sessions. Evening, we have again, it's a complete immersion where we are giving emphasis for the meditation in a regular basis. So all our Ashans and trainers there, and even the kids coming in the morning will meditate.
So it's like a proper Gurukul system?
Yeah,
Okay.
we have a Gurukula system.
Right.
Yeah.
And how long is this for? Like 6 months?
No, we have a very small size from 30 days.
Okay.
Even people who are interested and having very small time, like 15 days, they are coming and they're experiencing. We'll get an inspiration and introduction for Kalaripayattu. In 30 days, we can inspire. And the foundation of Kalaripayattu you will get. It's just like a doorway to go more. So people from different parts of the world, from India, different parts of India, they are coming there, staying there, and learning, evolving, practicing.
So before we talk more about Agasthyam, I really want to know about Rishi Agastya now. So let's dive into history and who Rishi Agastya was and how did he develop this southern style of Kalaripayat.
Basically, whenever we talk about knowledge in India, we'll have the name of Agastya. Even it spans up to the Rig Veda, which was the foremost Veda, where we can see sage Agastya.
Hmm.
He is present in all Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and all. And even if you are checking the Ramayana, the epics, you come to epics, he's there. In Ramayana, Agastya is giving Rama some weapons actually.
Oh,
Yeah. In the southern slope of India, Rama visits Agastya ashram and he is giving some weapons. Then, just before killing Ravana, Rama was little confused. That time Agastya appears and he is giving the Aditya Hridaya mantra to Rama. So we can see Agastya in epics. In Mahabharata, we can see mention of Agastya in different parts. Then in Puranas, Agastya is there. If we are coming to Tamil language, he is the foremost Siddha. And even he created the Tamil language and he created the Agattiyam, the foremost Tamil grammar text. And even he contributed on different areas like in astronomy, in Siddha Vaidya, he's the father of Siddha Vaidya, in Kalaripayattu and the southern martial arts, in the Marma therapy system, about the Tantric practices, about Jnanam. So he's diverse. Wherever we are talking about knowledge in Bharat, his name comes. So, and even along with Agastya, we can see the 18 Siddhas, starting from Tirumular, Ramatevar, Pambatti Siddhar. We created a small Siddhar Sanidhi there in our Kalari. Our Kalari actually, our legacy span something like, it started 128 years back. It was from my forefathers. Like my father was my first guru, but I learned with the different gurus also. There we can see a Jiva Samadhi also. My great grandfather's Jiva Samadhi was there. So they were all like Kalari trainers and they were Siddha experts. We were more into the eye treatment in Siddha medicine system mostly. So we created a Siddha Sannidhi there just to introduce Siddhas. Even our IK center is a center for Kalaripayattu as well as a Siddha tradition center. Like we learn about Siddhas also. They were they were scientists. Even Pambadi Siddhar was saying about the molecular level analysis he's doing about the human body. He says he in on Padal, he says, Utta Kuridi we are Maringam. Unmai Kudalum Ureita Chamber. That means the molecular, if you check the molecular level of blood, it is iron.
right.
Your hair is copper.
Hmm.
He talks about the metallic nature of human body.
Okay.
If some problem happens in your blood, it's mostly because of the iron deficiency. So we have
Correct.
to add iron.
Correct.
So he is talking about the micro level things.
Hmm.
And most of the Siddhas were comparing the Andam Pindam concept, like Andathil ullade Pindam, Pindathil ullade Andam. That means whatever you see in the cosmos is there in your human body. So they learn about the cosmos,
Right.
the bigger scale as well as the micro scale.
Correct.
So these are the Siddhas, and Agastya was actually very prominent about among the Siddhas. And I am very much fascinated with Agastya because I traveled to Agastya Peak.
Hmm.
It's in Trivandrum only. It's the
Right.
second largest peak in Kerala.
It's a trek, right?
It's a hard trek.
Yeah.
So I've been there 29 times.
Okay.
And even in 2011, I found something there in Agastya. It was an interesting finding where I was sitting there meditating with our team members. So suddenly when I opened my eyes, it was a huge mountain. Actually, it's a huge peak. You can see just like a Saturn Kailasa. It's
Yeah.
a huge peak, which is having something like 2 kilometers high. It's a big rock.
Yeah.
Where I was able to see Agastya there because it's not Agastya.
Yeah.
All the natural, what do you call, stones and maybe the herbs and what do you call, small plants and trees joined together to form the image of Agastya.
Wow.
I'll show you that.
Yeah.
So then I made a graphical representation and the real thing. Then we published and it went viral, and some of the newspapers made it as news and all.
Right.
So now people are going there and they are watching Agastya there. So it's a remarkable vision
Right.
that I had in 2011. So I'm very much connected with his spiritual processes. Even we have an Agastya Sannidhi in Kalari.
Okay.
So he did lot of works, tremendous works. He tried to disseminate the idea of different knowledges, especially about the marmas. Even in this Marma Kannadi text, it starts with a chapter called Karu Ulbhavam, which talks about how a zygote is formed inside a mother's womb, how it is progressing in each and every day. The size is improving. So it's kind of a deep scientific works they did.
Yeah.
And we should realize that all knowledges are stepping stones. One knowledge will come in another knowledge. We'll get, without knowledge, we will be blind. If something is there, we can build. So these are all like stepping stones where in each steps we can go in different directions. Okay. So that much of work they did. So it's very interesting that Agastya.
And Gurukul, how many years it has been since you have been training in Kalaripayat?
More than 40, because I was born and brought up in a family where Kalari was taught. My father was teaching there, and you should understand in 1800s British banned Kalaripayattu because Kalari become a threat to British. You know Parshi Raja. Did you heard about Parshi Raja? Parshi Raja fought against British because of he took a lot of Kalari warriors and he defeated. Then after 1800s, British banned Kalari and it became illegal.
Okay. Because they were scared of the martial art?
Correct. Because a lot of warriors are coming. Even now, when we put videos, some modern martial arts, they were commenting if Kalari has nothing, no strength, it's just a well being. No. We had suicidal squads. All Kalaris created warriors who can go and fight and die. Na? Went, fight and died. We used weapons na?
Right.
To kill, to die. There is no other option. We had suicidal squads. You should read about Mamangam, which was happened in Kerala in a regular basis, where thousands of warriors will be there, but 10 or 15 chavers, chegavas or chavers will go there. They'll fight and die in every year. It was a ritual happened long time. And there was an interesting finding that even my friend Dr. Arun Surendran always talk about this because you know about Rajaraja Cholan. So Rajaraja Cholan actually was, you know, Punniyan Selvan.
Yeah.
Punniyan
Yeah.
Selvan is Rajaraja Cholan only. He was a big emperor actually. He had actually conquered half of India.
True. He
He
went even outside of India.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Vietnam, even Malaysia,
Yeah.
kind of that part, half of Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
See, he traveled all this through he had a big, what do you call, like a naval army, right?
Yeah.
So he attacked Trivandrum twice
Hmm.
because there was one university in Trivandrum which was called as Kandalur Shala.
Hmm.
So Kandalur Shala was called as the Nalanda of the South,
Okay.
where with all the scriptures, Kalari was taught. And this threatened Rajaraja Cholan 1000 years back.
Right.
He attacked twice, and even he has a name that, what do you call, like Kandalur Shali Kalamadachu Aruliyavan, kind of name. He got a title also to defeat Kandalur Shala. So we were a threat for maybe the invaders or attackers
Yeah.
sometime. So British banned Kalaripayattu. And post-independence, our Ashans was and Gurukuls were trying to keep it very precious. Secretly, they were teaching this for years. After 1800s, I think 100 years, it was underlined, like it was we were teaching it undercover. Even after independence, our Ashans were and Gurukuls were, their mindset was it is something illegal or something like that. So even I was taught in the midnight, like after 9:30 or 10, we started our learning. But gradually, when it became a sports and Kalaripayattu association came and it gradually became a sports. Then it came to limelight. Now it's, I think we can say it's a reviving time. That's why Kalari was hidden a little bit.
Right. So because of British and they felt it is a threat to them, this was hidden for so long from Indians themselves.
Correct. Because if you are practicing somewhere, they will come and arrest because it was illegal. They seized calories, they demolished calories, they seized weapons, and it was like an illegal process for lot of years.
So is if this happened, then are there like parts of Kalaripayat and the theoretical part or the practical part which got lost in time?
Exactly. Yes, lot of knowledge lost because even there was some kind of ideas that if I'm a Gurukul, in one Kalari there will be one Gurukul or an Ashan. If he is teaching, he will keep something, some knowledge with him because of fear.
Right.
So kind of knowledge is lost, and because of this threat, lot of precious knowledge in Kalari actually lost. I think we had to research a lot of things, and we should understand Kalaripayattu is considered to be the mother of all martial arts just because of the story of Bodhidharma.
Can you dive into that?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. In 5th century, Bodhidharman was the prince of Pallava. His name was Jayavarman, and he traveled to China because Bodhidharman was the prince of Pallava, but because of the politics, he was fascinated to Buddhism. He he opted to become a Buddhist monk. Then he got a beautiful guru. Her name was Prajnatara, a Buddhist nun. Then he was in the woods up to his 50 or 55. He was a Buddhist monk, but he has very well exponent in the southern style of martial arts about like Varmakalai, Adidade Adimurai kind of things. He was a Pallava prince. He was a Pallava, and even in Kalaripai. So after his 50s, he wished to travel to China. Then he went to China, where he got a very wonderful reception. The monks of Buddhist monks of China, they were eagerly waiting for Bodhidharma because he is a very profound saint from India who is carrying big knowledge. So he came there, and they were ready to shoot a lot of questions, but he was silent. He was not answering any question. He was silent and keeping silent. Then they were confused. They thought that he don't know much. Hmm? Then immediately he met the emperor Uthang. Uthang was the emperor. He created universities for Buddhism. He created monasteries there. He was feeding monks, thousands of monks per day. So he was doing a lot of works for the Buddhism activities. So he was eager to meet Bodhidharma. And Uthang said, uh, I am feeding this much of monks. I created this much of monasteries. I'm doing this much of work to Buddhism. And all my money, wealth, and my empire, I'm dedicating to Buddhism.
Okay.
So shall I get salvation? Hmm? Then Bodhidharma answered, you will die on seventh health. Huh? You wasted your life.
Right.
Then Uthang was confused. What happened? Because then Bodhidharma said, the basic idea of Buddhism, the basic principle of Buddhism is to not expect anything.
Mm.
So you are expecting salvation and doing this much of work. No? Then the acceptance of Bodhidharma was little less there. So he traveled to the Shaolin temple, which was situated near the Yangtze River, near Shohan mountain ranges.
Right.
Yeah, I think. So he went there. He met the monks. They were reluctant, actually. They were not accepting Bodhidharma because they were just Buddhist monks.
Mm.
So he meditated in a cave. The cave is still there. He meditated 9 years without even eating and drinking.
Okay.
He was gazing a wall. It was always says as a great wall gazing meditation.
Hmm.
So after that, he came out with two scriptures. One is I Ching Jing, another one is Zin Zai Jing. So Zin Zai Jing, I think it is lost. I Ching Jing, from I Ching Jing itself is a martial art.
Okay.
So he came out and he empowered the monks with this beautiful martial art, the essence of this beautiful martial art. And they inspired from that.
Okay.
They improvised. So from I Ching Jing, Kempo Karate, then Kung Fu, all these Chinese martial art inspired.
Right.
Even Silat and Taekwondo, this Koguryo martial art, all these things inspired. That's why Kalari is considered to be the mother of all martial art. Even the he's Mas Oyama, who is actually the guru of karate. He had written a book, This is Karate, and he mentions about this martial art and Bodhidharma on his writings. So we have that. If we are analyzing both martial art, if you are kung fu or even wushu and Kalaripayattu, we can see a lot of similarities. The bow staff usage, the pressure points, even the 108, the significance of 108. Then maybe the animal postures. We have the Ashtavadiva, different animal postures. They even have the styles like. So all we can see a lot of similarities in these two martial art. And you know actually in India, no, Kerala and China, we have a very good relationship. That time, a lot of Chinese travelers are coming to Kerala, and we are like going and no, I'm not talking about specifically Kerala. I'm talking about South India. Mostly, we have a good connection with China that time, I think.
Right.
Even the Siddhas travel, you know, the Bhoganatha Siddhar, whose guru was Kamala Muni, who was a Chinese descendant. And that time they were traveling. Bhogar traveled to China multiple times. He had mentioned this on his Bhogar Edairam, Bhogar 7,000 in a scripture.
Beautiful. So this is how Kalari became the mother of all martial arts that exist in the world today.
Correct. Yeah.
And then when we look at your work with Indian Army,
Yeah.
I really want to understand, because Indian Army, I'm guessing, even if we talk about just the special forces, they are trained fighters and they are trained to kill. Why are they learning Kalaripayat? Is it for the mindset, or is it for that to strengthen that killing instinct even more?
Killing instant, I don't know, but we can enhance their minds. That's the thing that we can do, because now we are graced that the Southern Commander of Indian Army, he visited our Kalari, and even we are very much connected with the nearest center, that is Pangod military camp. So the brigadiers are very much connected with us, and we started training groups there in Pangod military camp. So basically, all they are very keen. Even they are very much fascinated with the moves of Kalari, how it is empowering the minds. I think Kalaripayattu is ultimately a mind training. It will enhance the mind. It will give you a profound mind to explore you more and more and become a better version of yours. And the diverse weapon actions, different weapons, the techniques, the very rare secret techniques that we are practicing about the pressure points, this will 100% enhance the capacities of the army.
So is the training different from what you're training to
Yeah.
say?
We designed a different training method for that, because mostly we train something like a small package, something like 30 days or so. We designed in such a way that we are training them, we are empowering them in a different method with all essence of Kalaripayattu we are taking. So not to become aggressive, but to become more and more grounded and strong.
Hmm.
Not to become confused in any
Yeah.
situations.
So again, the
We have
control over mind.
very intricate, very secret techniques in Kalaripayattu. So how to manage one body, how to take the energy of another enemy,
Okay.
how to give locks. Even you know that we have basically it evolved as a war art only.
Right.
It comes as a root actually. We have roots in the war.
Right.
We fought in different wars.
So
Even there is a saying that it's not actually, some historians have some findings that the evolution of Kalaripayattu happened in Kerala. Some findings are there. There was a war happened between the Cheras and Choras. We call it as Nutand Yuddha, 100-year long war.
Okay.
So some of the historians says that Kalari evolved from that war.
Okay.
But we have controversies that some other historians are saying that this is not happened. If 100-year war is happening, then there is no chance for a structured military training.
Right.
Kind of conversations and debates are happening on that. We exactly don't know when it started.
Yeah. But is it true that Kalaripayat is not for petty battles? This is a martial art which is for wars.
uh, it evolved as a war art because the opportunity to fight, it was happening. And when Kerala was having lot of what do you call, like it was divided into multiple countries, and small kingdoms were there. They even quarrel each other sometime. Then Kalaris become a political spaces where even two countries are fighting. Then two people from different spaces, one prominent fighter from this Kalari and another prominent fighter from other Kalari, mostly the Chekavas, they fight in an Angathat. And it, it's a mini war, not like a lot of people are dying and not a lot of people are fighting, one to one fight. And who is defeating will be the country will be defeated. So it was like that. We had Angathatta, we have Chegavas who were like hired fighters. We created hired fighters. We created suicide squads.
So suicide squad, that is pretty fascinating
Yeah,
because I've never heard of them. The
yeah.
the first suicide
Chowers. We
squad,
call it as chowers.
yeah, and I've heard about suicide squads in Japanese history
Yeah,
during World War, and
correct.
before that, I think the Hashashins
Mm,
who became assassins over
correct.
the years.
Correct. Correct.
That is what I've.
You should check chowers in Google.
Yeah. Okay.
Chowers.
Interesting.
Very trained people who are, they know they are going to die
Hmm.
because they are going to fight with the 1,000-member army.
Yeah.
But they will be like 20 members, 10 members.
And are they capable of defeating those
No,
1,000?
they are showing their protest, aggressiveness.
Hmm.
Sometime they beat 1,000 members and they went up to the king.
So they are like the elitist.
Yes, they'll train in such a way to kill like that. So we train in such a way. Once we have that kind of suicidal squads here, and we are using all kind of weapons like swords and shields. Why are they meant? They are just to defend, to kill, defend. So it evolved as a war art, always. But now it's a performing art, always, like it's a beautiful performing art. And even in our Kalari, we innovated some kind of performances. For example, for last Shivaratri, we created a performance which is named as Rudra. So it can be a contemporary kind of performance with a theatrical Shiva, what do you call, the creation of the universe. That was the theme that I had directed and created. So the dimension of color is diverse. It's a sports, it's a life, what do you call, well-being. It's a well-being. It's a lifestyle, and it can be a contemporary art. It's a beautiful art form. Perform.
So when we talk about weapons, before we go on to the pressure points, the last weapon is Urumi, which is a flexible sword. And in Maharashtra, people who have seen Bajirao Mastani, but they know Peshwa Bajirao, his favorite weapon was Urumi. I don't know what it is called in Marathi, but as you said, it is called Urumi. Um, how difficult it is to use an Urumi because it ricochets. And you told me that it goes from 6 feet to 18 feet.
Correct.
So how is it exactly used?
Because uh, it's a tricky thing actually. Because if when we practice, it's a bland urumi. That means no sharpness. Still, it cuts. Still, it cuts. So usually it will be a double-sided sword. Very carefully you have to use because it cuts you also, and it can be wielded in a very fast, beautiful manner. So it was used from very long period in southern area, especially in Kalaripayattu. And they wear this thing as a belts. I was talking about that Dureit Barbosa, the Portuguese travel. He was very keen observing. It was in 1500s. He was observing people wearing this as belts. So it can be wielded. We have heroic stories about Urumi, about we have some kind of northern ballads, Vadakan Pattugal, where the heroes Tachulli Vaden and Unni Archa and Aromal Chegavar, these people were using the Urumi in warfield, in this Angatata, like the duels and all that things. It is very well mentioned. So it seems like an unique weapon in Kalaripayattu. It can inspire all martial arts. Now also I had seen this thing in some Mardani Khel or some Maharashtrian art form. I had seen this, but mostly it is used in Kalari only, in the southern part only. So sometimes we will be using one blade, sometimes two, three, four blades.
Okay.
Yes.
So, how do you use like 4 blades? Two, I can guess, 2 hands.
No. In one handle, there will be sometimes it will be
Okay.
like four.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah, four blades.
Damn.
And the length I had seen, I read that some Urmi is long up to 18 feet. I don't know how they are using it.
Yeah.
But usually in Kalari, we'll use 6 feet, almost like this
Yeah.
length or 6 feet Urmis we usually use to fight also. Like we can duel also, we can wield also. Like it
Yeah.
can be a
So the fighting pattern of an Urumi, when you're using an Urumi, is it in a circular motion because you have to continuously?
mostly the infinite motion, like 8.
Okay. Yeah.
So it has to be used in a infinite.
Right.
Uh,
Okay.
so different styles of wielding is there.
Right.
So we can wield it in a different manner.
Yeah.
We can hit. We can use as a weapon. We'll use shields to protect. So we have duels. Urumi Paitu is there. Even our kids went to the national games and they bagged gold medal for Urumi Paitu.
Wow. Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And you told me off the camera you are also carrying a weapon, which is for pressure points.
No, I'm not carrying. I just want to introduce a weapon,
Yeah.
which we call it as Varmakol.
Okay.
Varmakol's call means it's a small weapon, which can be. This is Varmakol.
Okay.
It's just a small.
So how do you use this?
Because Kalari is a complete study. It's a
Yeah.
well-rounded study which starts from the basic weapons. I told you, it starts from the bare hands, short staff, long staff, these kind of daggers, choppers, swords, urumi. Then we start learning about the pressure points.
Right.
There are 108 pressure points in human body, where 12 pressure points are fatal maybe. Can even kill people if using some kind of attacks. And we have 96 other points just to self-defense, to escape. And this is a beautiful weapon that was used in olden times. It is used for self-defense as well as revival. So Kalari is the only martial art which has a healing system incorporated. We have a Kalari Chikilsa Pathati. We have a Marma Chikilsa Pathati. So this is the only martial art which has a healing system. When we are going to war, people will be injured. Then immediately they have to revive. Then all the Gurukuls and Ashans are good healers actually. They can heal.
But how do you heal instantly?
No, I mean, if it's a pressure point attack, then we can heal. Even the dislocations, the injuries happening in the muscular injuries, even the cuts. So we have a very perfect system actually. We create medicines.
Ayurveda is part of Kalaripayattu?
No, it's another stream, but it is interconnected. Ayurveda, Kalari Chikilsa, Siddha Chikilsa are interconnected actually. It's connected. Because even in Ayurveda, the Abhyangam, that is the massages, was inspired from Kalari Tirumals only. Kalari massages. So this can be used as a weapon as well as a reviving thing. People carry this thing in even their headgears. Maybe it's a very small weapon.
You said there are 108 pressure points. And I'm because I watched a film recently, Indian 2. It is called Hindustani 2 as well. And in that, the character of the main character, he uses those pressure points and he actually paralyzes people. He kills people using those pressure points. Is that true by any chance?
Yeah, 100%.
You can even kill.
Yes, that
Okay.
was I am talking about the 12 vital points, which is very fatal.
Okay.
It is explained like that.
Yeah.
uh, I think little cinematic things are there in
Yeah, yeah.
that movie.
Okay. But then it
But
actually
the
happens.
possibility is there.
Yeah. And if you hit those pressure points,
Yeah.
the person dies instantly.
According to the heat.
Okay. The pressure of the hit.
Yeah, correct. We call it as matras.
Okay.
And in each matras, in each pressure points, there will be another vikaras. Vikaras means the expressions of the abhigada is different actually. So if you know how to revive, if you can revive them in a very short span of time also, like in some fatal points, if heat is come, if you got a hit within within half an hour or 1 hour, if you can revive him, then we can escape him also. So all gurukuls will be capable to revive. They know they should learn how to revive.
And for these pressure points, is this weapon used or you can hit through your
No, through
hand as well?
hands is enough, but
Okay.
this is a value addition.
So this is a very fascinating thing about Kalaripayattu, which I've understood in this conversation. First, you learn the basic moves. Then you learn about the weapons and how to use them. And the last stage is where you use your bare hands
Correct.
to use the pressure points.
Correct.
So this is the most fascinating part because from weapons you're going to bare hands.
Yeah. Ultimately, we say there is a saying also that body should become the weapon.
Yeah, that is true for Kalaripayattu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even sometimes our body should become eyes.
Hmm.
We should create an awareness, alertness around you always.
Okay. And Gurukul, what is Project Shakti? And I know, of course, what is Project Shakti, but
Correct.
for the audience,
Yeah.
because we are living in a time where we know what happened in Kolkata very recently,
Very
we know what happened in the Nirbhaya case in Delhi. So, what is Project Shakti? And with that, I also want you to explain to women why martial arts is important for them and how they can use it.
Correct. So we till now we trained more than 10,000 girls and women
Yeah.
through Shakti workshops. It's a 3 hour workshop, which we started, I think, 3-4 years back. In we are always saying that India is progressing in maybe in education, financially, but still in every 16 minutes, one girl is
Yeah.
raped. I think 88 rape cases are reported in daily basis, and non-reported cases is I think more than that. And even World Health Organization is saying 1 of 3 girls is having some problem with surrounding. They are not at all safe. So, what is the solution? Is there any solution? There is just one solution to empower them.
Mhm.
Because we talked about the flight fight responses now when we
Yeah.
started the conversation. What is happening is actually our body have a response system. One is actually flight. When some situations come, we can even run. That is a survival thing. The second thing is actually fight, to fight back. Mostly these situations, these rape cases and this kind of molestations happens when your response system is in the freeze mode.
Right.
You don't know what to do. If something happens to you, your mind, you will be
Yeah.
freezed.
Yeah.
You will be confused what to do. That time this is happening. If you can respond on any situation, nothing will happen to you.
It is that split second decision again.
It's a split second decision where your freeze mode has to be changed either to flight or fight. There is another mode also, that is flop mode.
What is that?
It's fainting. It's fainting. Mostly some situation comes, they don't know what to do, then they immediately faint. Then there is chance to molestate, then there is chance to rape. And even if you are in the free stage, then this happens. So Shakti is a powerful workshop mode, well designed workshop where we are giving this kind of awareness to the kids like girls and women, that at least after the Shakti training, they are more charged, they are more empowered. They know that if you are in the freeze mode, how to escape from this freeze mode. These are the techniques that we are trying to teach them. If you have a strong presence of mind, then this is not going to happen. If you have the sense of alertness around you, then this is not going to happen. So We are trying to empower the girls and women around the nation with these ideas. So Kalaripayattu is a wonderful tool to empower the people. So because we know that we have a lot of students there, more than 50% is girls. After some years of training or some months of training, they are empowered. We know that this is whatever you learn in Kalari is a lifetime process because this is a subconscious training. Ultimately, this is a subconscious training. I explained. So this means up to the grave, it will be there with you. This is the foundation. So to be fearless, to be more confident, to be resilient, and you should create a kind of awareness, alertness around you. So lot of girls are there. So I know that they are empowered. Nothing is going to happen on their lives. So what we are planning to do is we train till now through different workshop, through in different organizations. We train more than like 10,000 girls and women are well documented. Now we are planning to train 1 lakh girls this year after October. We'll start with the Navaratri. We are planning to make Shaktis around nation. So it will be a big project. And even we are um, planning to uh, announce a project called Project Train a Shakti. It's train a girl, because there are a lot of girls in even in tribal, maybe below the poverty line. They don't know how to manage. So we just want to train them, and we are requesting and or appealing people around us to support us to make this happen.
I hope so. People who are watching this podcast, listening to this podcast, they support you in this cause, and even the women who are watching, they get trained in Project Shakti with you. Um, and I don't know. I just feel the society gets better. That's the hope. And women, they need to empower themselves to fight against, because it's, as we discussed, it's just that split second decision where you either flight or fight. It's either of that. Yeah.
If either you fight or flight, you'll escape. Even if you have a good response na, on that situation, if you give a good response, maybe a sound or a look, it will hold actually. This will not happen. So the only way to protect this or support this is to empower them with this beautiful martial art, and to empower them with the we can give them confidence, because we after Shakti we are taking the feedbacks now. We have a wonderful beautiful feedbacks after 3 hours what is happening. We are planning to make create workshops all around the nation. We are planning to train girls in camps like 1 month or 2 months like that. We are planning multiple projects like capsules to train the girls.
I hope so. A lot of women join this and empower themselves.
Yeah, and we in Mumbai also we did we did two Shaktis Shakti workshops.
Gurukul, coming towards the end of this podcast, we talk about spirituality a lot on this podcast. And as you said, spirituality is a major factor in Kalaripayat as well. And we are sitting right now in Mumbai, in Maharashtra. Kushti is a sport which is traditionally grown, and it has seen a lot of gold medals as well for the country. And in Kushti, because I had the privilege of going to a Kushti Akhada, I've seen the Kushti players, they actually worship Lord Hanuman. Uh, in the same way, in a lot of martial arts, the people, they worship Parshuram or they worship Shiva. In Kalaripayat, is there any primary deity whom you worship?
Basically, Kalaris have no religion and even caste, because Kalaris evolved as a resistance training. I think so, because it was in the in the society. So we can even see a lot of uh, Muslim Ashans, Christian Ashans, even Hindu Ashan. But it is not because of the religion. It can be divided. But in color is mostly the spiritual. We have a spiritual space. We call it as Putara. In different spaces, actually, there are a lot of deities there. We worship Hanuman, we worship Kali, we worship Parashurama, Shiva, and even Kalari Murtis. It is just like the language shifts. If you are going to the northern part of Kerala, there we can see some other devis called as Porkili or kind of. So Kalari is just like a temple always. It's just like a temple.
What does spirituality in Kalari
Yeah.
mean?
In Agasthyam, we are we are considering Kalari as the evolution, like a spiritual evolution. Because we in the Putra, we what do you call we consecrated a linga, Shiva
Hmm.
linga, because this comes from the lineage of Shiva always. We call it as Shiva Sambradayam. Because all knowledge in Bharat, uh, if you are checking the lineage back and back, it goes and stops there in Shiva's. As an Adi Guru, he is
Yeah.
there. Shiva means actually the consciousness, the awareness, basically. It exactly, it is not denoting a single person. It is the awareness or consciousness. Always we say the supreme consciousness is Nirakara Nirguna. There is no form, no quality.
Yeah.
So emptiness is there. So it comes from there. Consciousness, the awareness comes from. So we are on the spiritual pathway. Ultimately, spirituality is something which is we misunderstand because whenever people saw me with this beard and this one, they ask, "What happened to you? Eh? What happened to you?" I said, "Nothing. But why are you like this? We can talk and we can settle down." So people are thinking like that only.
Yeah.
Spirituality is the process of elevating your intellect.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's not like limiting yourself. People are thinking that this is something like limitation. They are
Hmm.
asking, what do you eat? Can you wear Rudraksha and have a wedding? Kind of things like limitations. They are talking about
Yeah.
limitations. But ultimately, spirituality shows the potential, higher potential to evolve. All spiritual seekers, all spiritual gurus are the guides actually. If you are checking about Shankaracharya, Swami Vivekananda, or all gurus, or even Shiva, they show the pathway because they have a raised intellect, elevated intellect. They can see beyond the normal people. So this is the pathway. So in our Puttara, we are not, it's a meditative way. We are practicing Kalari, where we have kept the Puttara as our energy chakras and it goes up to the Shiva, that is the Sahasrara. We created a linga there. That is, we call it as Yoga Linga. There we talk about the consciousness, the awareness, and ultimately this is a spiritual. Without spirituality, you are not complete. Ultimately, that's what we are preaching. It's just an elevated intellect that then you can guide the people. Ultimately, the clarity, maybe the proper clarity or knowledge, pure knowledge. Knowledge even have impurities and purities. So spirituality leads to the pure knowledge. All were seekers. All were seekers. Like they were scientists, seekers. They were seeking for the truth, ultimate truth. This is the pathway.
Right. Beautiful. Gurukul, thank you so much for this conversation. I actually learned so much about Kalaripayattu, and I cannot wait to be in Kerala and to meet you again over there because from what I've understood about Kalaripayattu, it's a lifestyle. It's a proper lifestyle, and it teaches you not just how to fight; it teaches you how to live. Because it involves meditation, it involves spirituality, it involves a lot of exercises, physical exercises, and then mental exercises as well. And over the years, in the history of Bharat, Kalaripayattu has played an important role. Even if people know about it or not, that is a different story. But it has played an important role and it has shaped Bharat.
I can add one more thing actually. When we are checking our gods, like I'm talking about the Indian gods, hmm, like they all hold weapons. If you are checking Shiva, he has a trident, Trishul. It's called as Vijay or Pinakam. Then if you are checking Hanumanji, he's having a mighty Gada. Rama with Kodanda, Kali with Mahakadga. So all gods, mostly, I'm not specific, but mostly the gods we worship, they hold a weapon. It's not for the decoration. That's that shows that they were mighty warriors. They were martial artists. We are even worshipping them because we think that they are protectors. They will protect us with their weapons, right? So that shows that all gods were martial artists. They fought many wars. Correct. If you are checking the Puranas, all gods fought. They were fighters. So ultimately, people or the gods evolved from the warriorship. It's an interesting factor, actually. So the significance of martial art is like that. People will become gods.
I think evil has existed in the past. It exists now. It will always exist. It's our responsibility to become those fighters who can fight that evil,
Correct.
just like our gods did.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. Gurukul, thank you so much.
Thank
I absolutely enjoyed this. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Thank you so much.